For some children, they long to grow up and get their dream job. For others, it is a complete nightmare. This is because of cruel labor.
Teachers have a very important role in our society. But do you think public school teachers enjoy every part of work? Teachers dedicate almost 12 hours of the day in the school or university teaching the class that they prepared last night. They work hard for doing a fun and interesting class, but their payment is very low for their dedication. In the United States, public school teachers receive a monthly wage between $58 and $65. This amount of money is not enough for their basic necessities. Because of their salary, there have been some protests in charge of public school teachers around the United States. Another unfair thing teachers have to go through is spending their money in getting decorations and materials for the classroom before the summer is over. Most of the time, when their desks or chairs are in bad conditions, they are the ones that need to buy things for school, but they can't afford that. Are some of the things that we consider are important to change in public schools, because not only do students need better opportunities for the future, teachers also need them as well. Let's improve teacher salaries so education can be an enjoyment for all. Tell us, Edgar, what do you think about receiving $64 monthly as a teacher?
Here in Colombia, that's not a lot of money considering what we have to pay for groceries and things that we need in our daily life.
And if, for example, in public schools, do you think that is a rational payment?
Well, as I told you before, considering what we have to pay for all the things that we depend on, I think that's not a good income.
Okay. Thank you very much for your opinion. Bye.
Forced labor is the work of a person that is not optional and mostly against their own will. It usually happens in countries that suffer poverty or are not fully developed. But it can also happen in countries like the US. Forced labor can be seen in activities that involve many hours of working and low pay, like fishing, agriculture, prostitution, and even construction. Fishing and mining, the biggest problem of forced labor is that there is no rest. People sleep for less than 3 hours.
Another unfair condition of work in the world is the Bangladesh garment industry. Manufacturers of most of the world's apparel are located in Bangladesh. Here, they make clothing for North America, Europe, and also Australia. These workers make large amounts of clothing every day, but gain one of the world's lowest wages, about $64. These women do not only get a terrible pay, but they also live with very harsh conditions of environment. In 2013, a building where these women worked, called Rana Plaza, collapsed and took the lives of thousands of women. Even 4 days before this event happened, an engineer had mentioned the owner of the building that it could collapse at any moment, but he didn't do or tell any of his workers about it. After the situation, workers were told that the unsafe conditions of work would improve, but they didn't. Manufacturers are still receiving low pay. They lose limbs in their work and they are repeatedly verbally abused. Big companies such as H&M are trying to change these conditions, but others are still not showing interest in the horrible situations that these workers are put through every day. Remember, no one should die for fashion.
Here in
now going to do an interview with the owner of Polito, which is a Colombian company of clothing. And so she's going to talk to us about the situation in Colombia and also the situation which she knows about that's happening worldwide with the clothing industry. So let's begin. And it will be in Spanish, so you will be hearing another play from us translating what is being said. Hi Alejandra, how are you?
Hi, fine, thank you, and you?
Good, thank you. Is it okay if we ask you some questions about the textile industry here in Colombia and all over the world?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so we would like to start by asking you, what conditions here in Colombia do you have to keep work safe and to keep employees safe all the time without any harsh conditions of labor?
Okay, so look, our industry is Polito. We make child clothing. We are located here in Medellin, and we have 300 employees. Our employees are all kept safe thanks to insurance, and we make sure they do not overwork and get the sufficient salary and essential necessities. Um, Also, we have all the paperwork, and by law, we have to give them good conditions. The part of our business that keeps them safe is Human Resources Department that aids and guarantees the workers a good life, outside and inside of the work. Okay, so that's the main stuff that helps our business and our workers.
Wow, that sounds completely incredible. Thank you so much. We think that Polito does a great job to keep their workers safe. But there is another industry, a textile industry, in Bangladesh that does not do that same thing. Can you tell us a little bit about the Bangladesh textile industry and its workers?
Okay, look, I don't know exactly if in Bangladesh, but I know that in some countries they treat very bad people and like in factories and they make them sleep there. They treat them terrible and that it's and they make them overwork and I think that is cruel and that shouldn't happen to a human being. Um, Also, they have a very sad conditions for the workers, and that's why in our business we have like some policies that we cannot do that because that's part of law. Thank you.
Alejandra, again, thank you so much for your time. This really helped us and it will help us develop our project. Um, we really hope that we can get really far with this, and we believe that your business is a true representation of goodness.
While children are having fun and studying, some others are in the dark side with exaggerated work. This is called child labor. Millions of children around the world are trapped in child labor, depriving them of their childhood, their health, and education, and condemning them to a life of poverty. There are children that work for helping their family economically, but they work in ways that are neither harmful nor exploitation. But sometimes also this work can prevent them from getting a proper education. In work scenarios, children are stuck in unaccepted work, violating their rights and working in terrible conditions that no human shall ever experience at that age. Based on UNICEF statistics and the World Bank, more than 100 million children aged 5 to 17 are engaged in child labor. The work can relate to slavery and slavery like practices such as forced and bonded labor and child soldering, sexual exploitation, or are used by adults in illicit activities, including drug trafficking. Based on UNICEF statistics and the World Bank, more than 100 million children aged 5 to 17 are engaged in child labor. The work can relate to slavery and slavery-like practices such as forced and bonded labor and child soldering, sexual exploitation, or are used by adults in illicit activities, including drug trafficking. Make our future bright. Shape our future bright. Stop child labor.